Bein Hashmoshes. By the way, what's the name Bein Hashmoshes? Shemesh means the sun. Bein Hashmoshes, in between suns.
Sun and the moon. Sun and the moon.
Sun and the moon. It's called Shemesh. So Bein Hashmoshes, we spoke about yesterday. What exactly is mutter to do Bein Hashmoshes? So really, start the other way. Everything is Asr Bein Hashmoshes, right? Except for a drabanan, which is a tzorich mitzvah. Any drabanan which is a tzorich mitzvah, the tzorich mitzvah is mutter. Spoke yesterday. Now we have to discuss a little bit about Tosfos Shabbos, because yesterday's halacha of Bein Hashmoshes, being allowed to do malacha d'Rabbanan l'tzorich mitzvah, is only if you weren't Mekabel Shabbos yet. But it's almost never negay because of the mitzvah of Tosfos Shabbos. So let's discuss a little bit the mitzvah of Tosfos Shabbos. Mitzvah of Tosfos Shabbos is to be Mekabel Shabbos before Shkia. Now this mitzvah of Tosfos Shabbos is the Raisa d'Rabbanan. So the Raisa. The Gemara Rosh Hashanah Daf Tes brings a machlokes Rabbi and Rabbi Shmuel what exactly the makor is of Tosfos Shabbos. But it seems pashut in the Gemara that it's a d'oraisa. The makor the Mishnah Berurah brings, I don't remember if it's Rabbi Akiva or Rabbi Shmuel. The Mishnah Berurah says the makor is from Yom Kippur, because the Torah says v'nisam es nafshei seichem v'tisha l'chodesh be'erev me'erev aderev tishbus u'shabbatchem. Right, so really, Tisha l'chodesh is only the 9th day of Tishrei. We don't fast. Yom Kippur is not the 9th day; it's the 10th day. So the Gemara says, "Yochayil b'tisha misanin tamadayim be'erev." I would have thought you fast on the 9th day. Tamadayim be'erev. It says be'erev no that you should fast on the 10th. That's when the halacha of Anisam nafshei seichem is. The Gemara asks, so if it says be'erev, so what do you do with b'tisha? The Gemara says, "Okay, tzad, you have to be moisav mechayil l'kodesh." Sort of, it begins B'tisha, and it carries into the 10th day, which is Erev, the Erev of the 10th, the night of the 10th. So that's the makor that you have Tosfos Yom Kippurim. But how do you know Tosfos Shabbos? So we say, the Gemara says, the Chsiv Tishbus Shabbatchem, and Yom Kippur is called Shabbos, so we are makish. They call Makish and Emer Shavuos K'mei Shabbos v'Yontiv Gam Ketzorach LaHosav V'Lishmas B'Malacha. So there's a Tosfos Shabbos applies to all different holidays which are called Shabbos in the Torah, including Shabbos Kodesh. Okay, so that's the makar, and that's the way most Rishonim paskin. Most Rishonim paskin that Tosfos Shabbos is a d'oraisa. The only one that says it's not is the Rambam. The Rambam says it's the Rabbanan. And the Goyen seems to pass like that also, but we paskin, Rav Rishonim, and that's what the Mishnah Berurah brings, we paskin that it's a d'oraisa. And someone who does malacha, the Mishnah Berurah says, Chai v'la oshem tolui. Chai v'la oshem tolui, because Bein Hashmoshes by definition means it's Safek Yom, Safek Laila. But definitely you mechuyev a carbon because Bein Hashmoshes is a Safek d'oraisa. But the Tosfos Shabbos is before Bein Hashmoshes. Now, how much of Tosfos Shabbos? How much of Tosfos Shabbos do you have to have? A half hour, 20 minutes. The minhag in Yerushalayim is to be Mekabel Shabbos 40 minutes before Shkia, right? I know in New York it's 18 minutes. In Manchester it's not sure. What? It's 18 minutes as well. Okay. So how long, al pi halacha, how much of Tosfos Shabbos do you have to add on Friday? So the Gemara doesn't say. The Gemara doesn't say. It's not mavur, really, an exact amount in the Gemara of how much you have to add mechayil l'kodesh. But the Mishnah Berurah seems to say it's be'erich reva shah. It's around a 15 minutes. It's within the 15-minute area of before Shkia. That's when one should. He says it's chatzi shah in Bein Hashmoshes. So Bein Hashmoshes we spoke yesterday is 13 and a half minutes. So 13 and a half, right? 30 minutes minus 13 and a half, it's around 15 minutes. Right, 16 and a half minutes. So That's the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah says it should be be'erech reva shah. That would explain why in New York it's 18 minutes. Here it's also 18 minutes. That's the 18 minutes. The Yerushalayim, the minhag is 40 minutes. But really, the poskim say, and most poskim hold like this, is that Taisvus Shabbos is enough to have Taisvus Shabbos even 3 minutes, 4 minutes. You don't need 18 minutes of Taisvus Shabbos. Right? We spoke about a tshuva a long time ago about Rabbi Moshe. He used to get into a car and drive down to yeshiva on the east side, and it was under 18 minutes left of Shabbos. And Rabbi Moshe writes to him over there as well that you don't need so much time for Taisvus Shabbos me'ikra din. It's enough, even 4 to 5 minutes. But the emes is 4 to 5 minutes, even without the din of Taisvus Shabbos. You should know. Also, one should refrain of doing malacha 4 to 5 minutes before Shkia, because Shkia is never exact. You don't know exactly when Shkia is. It happens to be that the chazonyisroel, the yedua of the chazonyisroel, when someone had a baby, right, a few minutes before Shkia, a baby boy, chazonyisroel used to say, do the bris a week from tomorrow, because we're never certain that 3 minutes within Shkia is really before Shkia. We can never be sure that so close to the calendar's time of Shkia is really before Shkia, and therefore, if you do the bris 8 days from the day of the day it was born, then it might still be the 7th day. So the chazonyisroel used to say, do the bris a day later. So the poskim say, if someone, let's say, realizes that candles weren't lit in their house before Shabbos, 3 minutes before Shkia, don't go and light candles. You should refrain from doing malacha even without the halacha of Taisvus Shabbos. One should not be doing malacha 3 to 4 minutes before Shabbos anyways, just to make sure that he's moitzi v'dei safek of being mechal Shabbos. But nevertheless, Mishum Taisvus Shabbos for sure, that's an additional reason why one should refrain from doing malacha 3 to 4 minutes. Now, there's a big question here. We all daven mincha right before Shkia. Right? What time is mincha and shul on Erev Shabbos? 3:35. I don't know. I'm saying by 3:50, it could be that the shliach tzibur is still doing chazaras hashatz. By Shkia, during Shkia, it could be the shliach tzibur still. So we're really still davening mincha, right? At the time that we should be mekabel Shabbos, at the time that the din is you have to have Taisvus Shabbos. And the question is mimanavshach. I mean, mincha is a stira. The Mechaber at Tzimmer Reish Samach Gimel says that if someone was mekabel Shabbos early, he's not allowed to daven mincha afterwards. You can't daven mincha. It's a stira. Once you're mekabel Shabbos, you cannot daven mincha afterwards. It's a stira. So us, that we daven mincha so close to Shkia, so how are we ever mekayim the mitzvah of Taisvus Shabbos? If we're going to be mekabel Shabbos because of Taisvus Shabbos, then we can't daven mincha. What are we doing davening mincha? And if we're davening mincha, then we're not being mekayim the mitzvah of Taisvus Shabbos. So how do we? Pashat Talim Tzchus Klal Yisrael. We're all not nizer in davening mincha well before Shkia on Erev Shabbos. Most of us are davening mincha right before Shkia. So it could very well be that some of us, if not most of us, are still davening mincha when Shkia comes along. So how can we be miyashiv and be malamet tzchus, this minhag of davening mincha so close to Shkia before Shabbos? There's a mitzvah of Taisvus Shabbos. The mitzvah of Taisvus Shabbos. So there are two things one can say. First of all, this mitzvah of Taisvus Shabbos. Did you ever see anybody in this medrash, give a clap on the beam and say, Rabbi say, it's 4 to 5 minutes before Shkia. Everybody say, I'm a kabel Shabbos early, and you're mekayim mitzvah of Taisvus Shabbos. Did you ever say that to yourself? I doubt it. Were you ever mekabel Shabbos bepeh or bedibur? No. Why not? There's a mitzvah of Taisvus Shabbos. Is anyone mekabel Shabbos bepeh before Shabbos? Are you?
I know someone who does.
Someone who does. Okay, so we'll speak about it.
The question is bigger Shabbos if you mekabel.
There's such a shayla. But what's the pshat when you're not mekabel Shabbos bepeh? It's a mitzvah esed deraisa. Guys mekayim mitzvah mitzvah esed. Why isn't there a minute to mekabel Shabbos bepeh? What? But when do you say Mizmor Shir Yom Shabbos?
Half an hour
into Shabbos, exactly. So nobody's careful to, and neither am I. The question is why not? But if there's a mitzvah of Taisvus Shabbos, a mitzvah deraisa, so why aren't we careful to be mekabel Shabbos bepeh? And not only are we not careful, we're also davening in mincha, which is a total steer to Shabbos, right before Shkia. So how are we miyashav this minhag? No, it's a good kasha. We're learning Taisvus Shabbos, you have to know this. So first of all, Most poskim say that Tosfos Shabbos, this is good to know. Most poskim say Tosfos Shabbos isn't something which you have to be mekabel consciously, the dibur. Tosfos Shabbos is chal me'elov. Because there's a halacha of Tosfos Shabbos, so as soon as there's a chiyuv, the halacha to be mekabel 4 minutes or 5 minutes before shkia, there's a chiyuv to be mekabel Shabbos early, the halacha is that now Shabbos has been activated as far as you're concerned. We'll speak about with regards to what. But the Machni Yisroel, the Chafetz Chaim, not in the Mishnah Machni Yisroel, in Perek Hey, he says that Shabbos, Tosfos Shabbos is chal me'eleho. The Chaya Adam says as well, he says, Hamoin, sing a rabbin, ma'anoshim toyin, that they think that Kabbalah Shabbos, by Tosfos Shabbos, you have to go ahead and be mekabel b'peh and b'dibur. He says people are toyin that it's chal me'elov. The Shulchan Aruch Harav says the same thing. Chayot, the Shulchan Aruch Harav, the Mishnah Berurah, and Machne Yisrael. They all say that Tosfos Shabbos is not something which you have to be mekabel consciously, b'dibur or b'peh. It's chal me'elov. Why?
Mitzvah say then.
It is mitzvah say. Mitzvah say is that you should be mekabel Shabbos earlier, but not that you should have to be mekabel Shabbos. That Shabbos should be brought in a few minutes before Shki, before the actual din, before the actual chiyuv of Shabbos. In other words, without Tosfos Shabbos, Shabbos wouldn't be chal 2-3 minutes beforehand. But because the mitzvahs have Tosfos Shabbos, so now there's a din that it's chal me'aleho beforehand. Now, what's it chal klape? What do you mean it's chal already? It's chal 2-3 minutes before Shabbos. That means that Kedushas Shabbos is already in. It's already Shabbos. So most poskim say that Tosfos Shabbos is only le'inyan pre-sham and melacha. That it's only legabe not doing melacha before Shabbos. As long as you refrain from doing malacha before Shabbos 2-3 minutes, that's a kiyum of the mitzvah of Tosfos Shabbos. You don't have to go and say Yom Hashishi and be mekadosh the Yom. It's not le'inyan kol halachas v'chol dinim shel Shabbos. It's only le'inyan prishim and malacha. That's how most places can paskin. So with that in mind, we understand why we can daven mincha right before Shkia, because the halacha that you can't daven mincha once you mekabel Shabbos is only once you mekabel Shabbos b'peh. L'chol dinei Shabbos. It's already Shabbos. It's already Yom HaShabbos. But the halacha of Tosfos Shabbos doesn't mean that you have to go and bring in Shabbos. It's already Yom HaShabbos 2-3 minutes before Shkia. All it means is that it's chal me'aleh a din of prisham and malacha. You're not allowed to do malacha anymore. So because it's only le'inya prisham and malacha, so you could still daven mincha. That's not a stira to mincha. The stira to mincha, the Mechaber speaks about a Siman Reish Samach Gimel, is only if it's already Yom HaShabbos. It's already the next day. Then it's a stira to mincha, you can't daven mincha anymore. But if it's only le'inya prisham and malacha, then we can still daven mincha. That's one way to answer. Yes.
Does this mean that means 3 or 4 minutes? That means whatever your minhag is.
The 18 minutes or whatever it is.
Right. So if you're in a
Men-
car and 18 minutes comes, you should get out of the car. So I had this like.
No, but men aren't anyways. And men aren't anyways noyek to mekabel Shabbos 18 minutes before. That's only at Lakas Neiros. That's only for women. That's only for men. And not because men should also look at Chila do that. But the 18 minutes is only at Lakas Neiros, right? The calendar says when is at Lakas Neiros?
Right.
And then at that time. At Lakas Neiros is a din. In the woman's Kabbalah is by Lakas Neiros. You could still do malacha afterwards, but at least.
It comes. When's that? 4 minutes before. 3 minutes. Before?
Right. So when exactly does that happen? I don't know, because the Ikar Adin, the poskim say that even a mashahu is enough. It doesn't have to be 3 to 4 minutes. But we're saying 3 to 4 minutes because of a different reason. Because anyways, we're not sure when Shkia is, and one should refrain from doing malacha 3 to 4 minutes before Shkia anyway. Right? So because of that, I'm mentioning 3 to 4 minutes.
So when the calendar says, let's say 10 to 4 and shul is 10 to 4, is that taking Tosfos Shabbos into account, or that is Shkia?
If minchas 10 to 4,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming it's before Shkia. I'm assuming it's still before Shkia. One of mincha before Shkia.
So that's taking Tosfos Shabbos into account.
So that's our question. I'm saying, where do we take Tosfos Shabbos into account? If 10 to 4 is mincha and Shkia is around 4:05, so you're davening mincha mamish up to Shkia. So where is the Tosfos Shabbos happening? Where are we mekayim Tosfos Shabbos? Every Shabbos, every Friday afternoon, right before Shabbos. Where's the kiyum of Tosfos Shabbos? So I'm saying the kiyum of Tosfos Shabbos happens me'alel. And le'inyan what? How could it happen me'alel? You weren't mekabel the Yom HaShabbos. Le'inyan the Isra of Prisham HaMalacha. There's chal and Isra of Prisham HaMalacha 3 to 4 minutes before Shkia, and that happens me'alel. And that's not a stira. And that's not a stira to mincha. I'll just finish off with a very interesting shayla brought in Isha Yisrael. Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky was asked the following shayla. There are poskim that say that you have to mekayim mitzvahs Tosfos Shabbos bepeh. And like Danny just mentioned before, you know someone that does it every Erev Shabbos. Some people are machmir, they usually make the mitzvah of Teis Shabbos, bepeh, bedibur. Right, 3 to 4 minutes before Shkia, they say to themselves, Hareini Mekabel Shabbos Alai, L'kayim mitzvah Teis Shabbos, whatever Lashon they say. Some say even Good Shabbos is enough. You could just say the words Good Shabbos, and that's also Kiyum mitzvah Teis Shabbos. So he was asked, what if you only have enough time to do one? Either to daven mincha, or to be Mekayim mitzvahs Teis Shabbos. Right, and if you hold that mitzvahs Teis Shabbos is not Chal Me'aleh, you have to go and say it. You have to be Mekabel Bepeh, and you only have enough time to do one or another. Which one would you say takes precedence? Which one is first? You say mincha, but what do you say? Teis Shabbos. Why? Because they're deraisa. Why would you say mincha? The Rabbanon. Taught of the Rabbanon with the Ain't taught of the deraisa, the Chiv deraisa. If Teis Shabbos is a deraisa, and mincha is only the Rabbanon.
You're supposed to hold that Teis Shabbos don't need to be Mekabel Bepeh anyway.
But let's say you're a person that holds that you're machmer for those Rishitas, and there are people that are machmer like that. So you're saying, so then you should rely on the other person. You're saying, then rely. Don't be so machmer. Saying it's a chumr dasal lekula. If you're machmer like that, you're not going to have mincha. So rather be samech on the other person. So Reb Chaim Kanievsky, interestingly enough, answers. He says you should have a mincha first. Don't. If you have a choice between one or two, between Teis Shabbos, between kind of Teis Shabbos, or davening mincha, you should have a mincha. The question is, how can he say davening mincha takes precedence if mincha is only in the Rabbanon, Teis Shabbos is a deraisa? So either you say like Zachi that because most paiskim anyways hold the Chal Me'aleh, so daven mincha and be samech on those paiskim. But I saw someone say a very interesting pshat. You'll tell me if you think it's right. But it sounds very good. He says like this: if you have a time to daven mincha before Shabbos, right? That means you at least have 10 to 15 minutes. I'm assuming it takes 10 to 15 minutes for you guys to daven mincha. So if you have 10 to 15 minutes before Shabbos to daven mincha, and you know if you're going to daven mincha, you're not going to have time to say those words. Hareini Mekabel Teis Shabbos Alai, Hareini Mekabel Shabbos Alai, L'kayim mitzvahs Teis Shabbos. Right? When are you mechuyev to daven mincha? Mechuyev to daven mincha right now. Because if you don't daven mincha right now, you're not going to be able to daven mincha anymore. When are you mechuyev to be mekabel Teis Shabbos? 3 to 4 minutes before Shabbos. Right now, still 15 minutes before. You don't have to mekayim Teis Shabbos right now. The mechayev of Teis Shabbos is only 3 to 4 minutes before Shabbos. That's when, if you don't do it, you're going to miss out on the mitzvah. So that's when the mechayev kicks in. Right? That's when you become mechuyev. Me'ikar adin. So right now, when you're 12 to 15 minutes before Shabbos, you don't have a chiv me'ikar adin to mekayim Teis Shabbos right now. You can still wait. So what comes first? Which mechayev is first? Mechayev of mincha. So then you go daven mincha. That's what you have to do right now. So when you're davening mincha, and 3 to 4 minutes before Shkia, you're in the middle of davening mincha, and therefore now you can't be mekayim the mitzvah of Teis Shabbos, then you're just an einus. So you're an einus. So therefore you're part of the mitzvah of Teis Shabbos. So you're putting yourself in a situation where you're going to be part of the mitzvah of Teis Shabbos, although it's a deraisa, but because right now there's no mechuyev, there's no mechayev right now, because technically you could still wait. Because right now there's no mechayev, because the mitzvah of Teis Shabbos is only 3 to 4 minutes before Shabbos. So therefore, daven mincha, that's what's mutal olech olases right now. That's what you have to do right now. Daven mincha now. And then when 3 to 4 minutes before Shabbos comes in and you're stuck because you're davening mincha, you can't mitzvah Shabbos. So either you're an einus or you could say you're being oisig l'mitzvah, potim and a mitzvah. So there are different ways you can go about it. But that's what he wants to say. That's why Reb Chaim Kanievsky holds that if you have a choice between the two, you should daven mincha beforehand. And Reb Chaim Kanievsky says, even amazingly, he says that even if it means you should be davening mincha b'tzibur, tefillah b'tzibur, right? And if you're in Teis Shabbos, you're going to be able to daven mincha, but not tefillah b'tzibur. So which one should you do? You know, right now, either you have to go and spend your time running to the Beis Medrash and davening mincha with a minion. But if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to daven Teis Shabbos. But if you don't do that, you'll be able to daven mincha b'yichid and Teis Shabbos as well. Which one should you do? Chaim Kanievsky says, go daven with a minion. Tefillah b'tzibur is adif. The question is why? And the same lumdas you could apply here also. Because right now, the chiyuv right now is to go daven mincha b'tzibur. It's not, there's no chiyuv me'ikra din right into Mekayim Teis Shabbos. It only kicks in 3 to 4 minutes before Shabbos. That's when the chiyuv me'ikra din is. So at that time, you're davening mincha, you're being oisik mitzvah, whatever, you're an einus. That's why you're potter, yes.
Can you put yourself in that position like Atchila? I'm saying you know that you're not going to be able to...
Very good question. Could you put yourself in a position like Atchila? So we learned in Simon Reish Mem Ches, there was a Balamor. Balamor says you should never put yourself in a situation where you'll be in Einus and you have to be over an Avera. In other words, that's a general shaila in Kol HaTorah Kula. Are you allowed to put yourself in a situation where you'll be in Einus and not being able to Mekayim a mitzvah?
So the
Balamor says you're not allowed to. But over here, I'm not sure if you're the one putting yourself into that situation. Here, there's a mitzvah of mincha. They're both putting you in that situation. You have to have mincha. You're not putting yourself in a situation.
Okay, but you know that...
You're mechuyev to have mincha right now. You're not the one putting yourself in a situation like that.
Shabbos is a deraisa, and you're putting yourself in position to do that the Rabbanon.
Right, so that's a good aura. So the question is the Balamar even applicable to oifen where the Rabbanon you're mechuyev, and if you're going to be mekayim the mitzvah of the Rabbanon, then you'll be in einus later on for a mitzvah deraisa. I'm not sure if we say that. That's l'chayr from here before you don't say that.
A situation where, say, either you've got a chavrusa and you're not done mincha yet. So you have done mincha, you have a chavrusa. I'm saying, then the Torah is deraisa.
No, we know that Lim Ramnas Lasses, nothing is deicha. Talmud Torah generally is not deicha. I mean, so don't be mekabel Shabbos and don't mitzvah Shabbos because you're learning Torah. So that's with the mitzvah Talmud Torah we don't say that. Every mitzvah she has last day. I mean, you have to do it. That's the Lim Ramnas Lasses. Okay, we'll stop over here.